So being a mother and doing a talk on Mother's Day is kind of an adventure, actually. It's an adventure for me. And I've been really looking at different aspects of mothering and how we as Unity students can really embrace the experience of being mother and also the experience of being mothered, because all of us have a mother. So Mother's Day for me is, yes, it's about honoring my own mother, and my kids honor me as their mother. But even more than that, I feel it's a time for each of us to really embrace the mothers that birthed us and the gift that they gave us. I was just feeling into the Bible, and one of my really favorite parts of the Bible is the story of the angel coming to Mary and telling her that she's with child. And there's just this one little passage where she responds, and she says, "How can this be? I am a virgin." And the angel said to her, "The Holy Spirit will come upon you, and the power of the Most High will overshadow you. Therefore, the child to be born will be holy. He will be called the Son of God." And for me, in our Unity consciousness, this is an explosion in awareness, because we understand that we are all brothers and sisters, sons and daughters of the Most High, that we are all these spiritual beings born into human experience, and we inherit all that is of God. And at some level, you know, the idea of the virgin birth makes perfect sense to me in a different way now, in the sense that I understand how we are born of spirit and we are spirit. For this go round, I have a physical body and you have a physical body, and yet the essence of who we are is holy. It's the spiritual nature of who we are. And for most of us, certainly in our Unity journey, the journey is a spiritual journey of reconnecting more powerfully to all of the aspects of God that we've been gifted with in this incarnation that our mothers birthed us into. You know, and Charles Fillmore, he has just kind of a really interesting little comment about motherhood. I thought, I love my revealing word. And what he says about motherhood, he calls it the brooding, nourishing element of divine mind, or God, in which spiritual ideas are brought forth into fruition. This idea of, you know, I guess brooding has sort of some interesting connotations, but I'm just thinking of it as like the mother hen sitting on her eggs or something like that, rather than any sort of deep, dark thing. But this idea that motherhood is this place of nurturing the spiritual ideas that are to be brought forth on the planet right now. And you know, that to me is so exciting for us, because each one of us is, like Emily Cady talks about in Lessons in Truth, there's a reservoir that is the nature of God, and then there's a channel, and each of us are this fountain of these divine ideas that are coming forth in a very unique and extraordinary way. And so the brooding nature of motherhood, that aspect of the mother for each one of us, was a vehicle, literally. Our mothers were the ones that connected us to the mind and heart of God in this incarnation that we're gifted to in this lifetime. And so that deep and powerful connection that at the physical level was the umbilical cord came after the spiritual connection. That at some level, the divine called upon your mother to bring forth you into incarnation, to incarnate you and all the qualities that are yours to express in this lifetime on this planet. And so I just feel this sense of the heart of the mother is like this powerful explosion of energy that each one of us have been gifted with in this lifetime. And just as we think of the heart as that central part of the body that is beating and bringing us vitality and life and oxygen to the cells, and bringing all the neurons in the brain, connecting us to the wisdom that we are able to tap into. This quality of mothering is a wonderful part of us to embrace more fully on Mother's Day. And we love Myrtle Fillmore, don't we? Mother, they called her Mother Myrtle. Nobody, she said, don't call me Mrs. Fillmore, I'm Myrtle, just call me Myrtle. And people referred to her as Mother Myrtle or Mama Myrtle. She was the mother of unity. In fact, there's a book by Thomas Witherspoon that I really recommend. If you've just got some time, Google and get a couple of books on Myrtle Fillmore. She was such an outstanding, incredible teacher, leader, and really the heart of our unity experience. I've talked in the past about her healing and how she anchored into her consciousness this awareness that she was a child of God, that she was a spiritual being inheriting only that of God, that she did not inherit the physical sickness in her body. And from that awareness and that basically powerful consciousness that she held, she saw herself as an executive of God. An executive of God. Think about that for yourself. What is an executive of God doing? You know, like God's CEO on planet Earth. What if you were an executive of God? She talked about this, and I see people laughing because, you know, we don't think of ourselves like that. But Myrtle, she embraced the fullness of who she was as a spiritual being on the planet right now. And she went for it. And the thing about Myrtle was, if we look at this deep, abiding, brooding, spiritual awareness of motherhood, what Myrtle did in terms of how she supported us in the unity movement and in the unity way of life, literally, because she was one of those people who, she said, you can't just know truth. You can't just mouth it. You have to live it. It has to be something you're practicing every day. And the thing about Myrtle was that her passion was to help people in a very everyday way. She was passionate that children should have spiritual teachings in their life. She was passionate that people were having difficulty in their everyday life, whether they were having trouble with their finances, or they were having problems in their health, or they were having disagreements in their marriage, or they were dealing with addiction. She was passionate about supporting them in that way. In the same way as a mother, you know, I want to be there for my child in that way, and the very sort of pick you up and support you and guide you and help you. But she did it. She did it through her letters, you know, and so interesting for us right now in this time when we're being called to virtually connect. Myrtle was able to do that. She virtually connected. She did it through writing letters. Well, we can do the same thing. We can even do it with this technology that we have to connect with other people. And how she did it was she blessed people and she held them up to higher standard of the truth that she knew was their divine nature. And this is what a mother does, isn't it? A mother, the heart of the mother, has this ability to feel and to know the power of their child, to see the best in their child, to have this quality. And I called it intuition, but don't touch my heart. My heart is doing something. Okay, thanks, Harker. I'm tapping my microphone. I think I was Italian in another lifetime because I seem to talk with my hands. It's easier when you're standing than when you're sitting. So this aspect of motherhood is an aspect of what we're being held to in our spiritual life and in our spiritual teachings. And as we understand unity, Charles gave us these teachings. Charles was the metaphysician who understood all these different aspects of the Bible. And Myrtle was here saying, this is a teaching, this is who you are. And she spoke to that and spoke to it as a mother would speak to a child, encouraging, appreciating, supporting all the way. This is what the heart of the mother is all about. And it's interesting, I was looking, you know, I mentioned in my talk title, and I'm always surprised when I say something a couple weeks out and I look back and I went, oh, you really said that. So I guess you need to follow through. I talked about intuition. You know, how does the mother how does this quality of mothering, and think about it as your own mother, how she knew things about you, and you just kind of wonder, how does she know these things? Myrtle talked about this in another one of my favorite Myrtle books, which is called Torchbearer to Light the Way by Neil Valley. It's written from the thousands of letters that he was able to find at Unity Village. She talked about the power of intuition. And not only does the mother have this inner intuition, but this is a quality of the divine that we've been gifted with. And she says in here that of all the powers of mind, and then again, she's focusing on the executive powers here, these divine capacities that we have. Of all the powers of mind, Myrtle believed that intuition was the most valuable. She asserted that the divine knowing faculty, to know beyond any question of doubt, was people's best good, the best good you could have. This is quoting Myrtle. Your intuition is the faculty for knowing beyond the shadow of a doubt the truth about God and your oneness with God. Do not try to reason out things intellectually. That is a spiritual thing. But trust the truth of spirit to make clear and plain to you. Have faith in the guiding light of your indwelling spirit. So she was coming from her own kind of indwelling awareness of the presence of God within herself, from the huge healing that she had. And she was calling forth to everyone whom she saw as her children to trust and understand the indwelling spirit and intuition that connects us with the higher consciousness of the divine, that Christ presence. So I know that each one of you receives something extraordinary from your own mothers. Some extraordinary gift that your mother gave you because you had an abiding connection with your mother. You know, even if there are kind of cobwebs of your own judgment about things that your mother said or things that she did, that she wasn't the perfect mother, but they're qualities of being that your mother nourished in you, that right now in your life, called to be who you are called to be in this moment in time, whether you're sheltering in place, whether you're connecting virtually with family and friends, whether you're still working in the world. They're qualities of being that came through the heart of your mother, that connected you more highly to the presence of the divine moment to moment. Well, thank you all. This is so, it feels so, my heart is just like exploding, connecting with everyone and mothers. It's really beautiful. Thank you so much.